I came home from a business trip to find my apartment key didn't work. My mother had forged my signature to give my home to my brother. Now she has a felony record. Hi everyone. Today's story will blow your mind, but really quick, if you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. Channel's been a bit quiet lately, and your support keeps it all going. Let's jump in. Original post. I, 27M, am still in shock as I write this. I came home from a week-long business trip yesterday to find my key doesn't work in my apartment door. After calling the building manager, I discovered my mother, 55F, had reorganized the family living arrangements and moved all my belongings to my brother Ryan's, 25M, apartment across town. Let me provide some context. I work as a software engineer and have been living in a nice studio apartment in downtown for the past 3 years. It's perfect for my needs, close to work, modern amenities, and in a secure building. My rent is $1,800 per month, which I've never missed. Ryan works part-time at a sporting goods store and lives in a 2-bedroom apartment in the suburbs that our parents help him pay for. His place is larger but in a less desirable area, and his rent is $1,200 per month. 4 months, my mother Patricia has been complaining that my apartment is unsuitable for entertaining family. She's constantly criticized how I can't host holiday dinners or have overnight guests comfortably. I've explained repeatedly that I chose my location for career reasons, not for hosting extended family gatherings. She would always respond with passive-aggressive comments about how I'm abandoning family values and being selfish with my success. The thing is, I've worked incredibly hard to get where I am. I put myself through college with loans and part-time jobs while Ryan dropped out after 1 semester. I'm not judging his choices, but I've been financially independent since graduation while he still relies on our parents for support. My mother has always had a soft spot for Ryan, calling him her baby and making excuses for his lack of direction. Apparently, while I was gone, she convinced the building managers at both locations that she was acting on my behalf as my emergency contact. She showed them some kind of documentation, I haven't seen it yet, claiming I had agreed to swap apartments with Ryan for family reasons. She literally had a moving company pack up both apartments and switch our belongings. When I confronted her, she acted like this was completely reasonable. Her exact words were, "You're being dramatic, Michael. Ryan needs the downtown location more than you do. He's been offered a management position at the new sporting goods superstore opening near your building. Besides, his apartment has 2 bedrooms, perfect for when family visits. This arrangement makes sense for everyone." I asked Ryan about this management position, and he seemed confused. Turns out, he had mentioned to our mother that the chain was opening a new location, and he was thinking about applying. There's no actual job offer. He's been living in my apartment for 3 days now and already talking about how great the gym in the building is. The building manager at my original apartment says his hands are tied since the transfer documentation appeared legitimate. He suggested I take it up with corporate management or seek legal counsel. Ryan's, now my building manager, just shrugged and said if I'm on the lease now, I need to pay rent or face eviction. I'm beyond furious. This isn't just about the apartment swap. It's about boundaries, respect, and the fact that my mother thinks she can rearrange my life without my consent. My father, 58M, just keeps saying I should keep the peace, and that family comes first. My sister Jennifer, 30F, lives across the country and thinks the whole situation is insane but doesn't want to get involved. What are my legal options here? Can I press charges for fraud? Identity theft? I have documents proving my original lease, bank statements showing my rent payments, and emails with my building manager from before my trip discussing maintenance issues, all proof that I never intended to move. I'm also concerned about my credit and rental history if this swap somehow becomes official. I need advice on how to proceed legally and personally. Part of me wants to just show up at my original apartment with police and demand Ryan leave, but I don't want to do anything that could hurt my case. I've already started documenting everything and have requested copies of whatever paperwork my mother submitted. This feels like such a betrayal. I've always been the responsible one, the one who helped out when Ryan needed money, the one who paid for Mom's car repairs last year. And this is how she repays me? By literally stealing my home? Any advice would be appreciated. I'm in Colorado if that matters for legal purposes. Update 1. Posted 5 days later. My mother forged my signature to swap my apartment. Meeting with lawyer tomorrow. First, thank you to everyone who responded to my original post. The advice was incredibly helpful, especially those who told me to immediately file a police report and contact a real estate attorney. I wanted to provide an update because the situation has escalated significantly. Following the advice from my original post, I did several things. 1. Filed a police report for identity theft and fraud. 2. contacted both building management companies in writing, stating I never authorized any apartment swap. 3. Hired a real estate attorney who specializes in tenant rights. 4. Requested all documentation related to the swap from both buildings through my lawyer. Here's where things get worse. The documentation my mother submitted included a forged lease transfer agreement with my signature, a notarized statement. Somehow she got a notary to sign off on this, claiming I was relocating for family medical reasons, forged letters to both building managements requesting the transfer, even a fake email exchange between me and Ryan discussing the swap. She created an entire paper trail. The email address she used was similar to mine, but off by one letter. The signature on the documents is close to mine. She must have practiced. My lawyer says this shows premeditation and sophisticated fraud. When I confronted my mother with this evidence, her mask finally slipped. She went from playing innocent to full narcissistic rage. She screamed that I owe her for raising me, that Ryan deserves a chance at success, and that I'm selfish for not automatically agreeing to help my brother. She actually said, I did what any good mother would do to ensure both her sons have what they need. I asked her directly, did you forge my signature? Her response, I signed what needed to be signed to fix this family's problems. You would have said no because you only think about yourself. I recorded this conversation. Colorado is a one-party consent state. Ryan's involvement is frustrating but not surprising. When I called him after discovering the forged documents, he claimed he thought I had agreed to the swap but was too busy to handle the paperwork myself. He said Mom told him I was finally stepping up as a big brother. However, when I pressed him, he admitted he found it strange I hadn't mentioned it directly but didn't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. He's now refusing to move back. He says he's already settled in, his new commute is better, and going back to his old place would be disruptive to his life. The audacity of using my own apartment situation against me is not lost on me. My father called me yesterday, not to apologize or offer support, but to beg me not to press charges against Mom. He said, she meant well, and, do you really want to destroy your mother over an apartment? When I explained the severity of fraud and forgery, he accused me of being vindictive and valuing my fancy apartment over family. My sister Jennifer has been my only family support. She's flying in next week to help me deal with this. She told me Mom has been planning this for months, dropping hints about fixing the Ryan situation during their phone calls. Jennifer thought it was just typical mom talk and never imagined she'd go this far. My lawyer is confident we have a strong case. The evidence is overwhelming. A clear documentation of my original lease. Bank records showing consistent rent payment from my accounts. Work email showing I was out of town during the alleged agreement. The confession recording. Multiple witnesses who can testify I never mentioned moving. Digital forensics showing the fake email was created from an IP address traced to my parents' house. We're pursuing both civil and criminal action. The criminal charges would include identity theft, forgery, and fraud. The civil action seeks immediate restoration of my apartment, damages for the disruption to my life, and compensation for legal fees. Both building management companies are now taking this seriously. My original building's corporate office has launched an internal investigation into how their manager accepted clearly fraudulent documents. They're reviewing their policies and seem worried about liability. Ryan's building is demanding clarification on who is legally responsible for rent. The emotional toll is significant. I'm staying in a hotel, more expenses, while this gets sorted. I can't access many of my belongings properly because Ryan won't let me into his apartment without 24-hour notice. He's already acting like he has tenant rights. My work has been understanding, but the stress is affecting my performance. I've started therapy to deal with the betrayal and family dysfunction. My therapist says this is a clear case of narcissistic abuse and that my mother's actions show a complete disregard for my autonomy and legal rights. She's helping me understand that pressing charges isn't vengeful, it's establishing necessary boundaries and protecting myself. Tomorrow, I meet with my lawyer to sign paperwork initiating the lawsuit. We're also filing for an emergency injunction to prevent any further movement of belongings and to freeze the current situation until it's resolved legally. I know some people might think I'm overreacting by involving law enforcement and lawyers, but she committed multiple felonies. She didn't just cross a boundary, she obliterated it. If I let this go, what's next? Will she forge my signature to take out loans? Sell my car? The trust is completely broken. I'll update again after major developments. Thank you all for your support and validation. It helps to know I'm not crazy for treating this as the serious crime it is. Update 2, posted 3 weeks later. Criminal charges filed, family imploding, but making progress. This update is long overdue. The past 3 weeks have been a whirlwind of legal proceedings, family drama, and personal revelations. I'll try to organize this coherently. Legal progress. The District Attorney's Office has officially filed charges against my mother for identity theft, Class 4 felony, forgery, Class 5 felony, a criminal impersonation, Class 6 felony, a fraud by check. She forged a check for the moving company. My lawyer says the evidence is overwhelming. The forensic document examiner confirmed the signatures were forged, and the email evidence is damning. The notary who signed the documents is also under investigation. Turns out she's a friend of my mother's from her book club and is now claiming my mother told her I had authorized everything verbally. The emergency injunction was granted. Neither Ryan nor my mother can move any more belongings, and the apartments are to remain as is until the civil case is resolved. Ryan threw a fit when he was served, calling me every name in the book and saying I'm ruining his life over petty sibling rivalry. The family fallout. My mother was arrested last Tuesday. The image of her being led away in handcuffs will haunt me, even though I know I did the right thing. She posted bail, my father emptied their savings, and immediately launched a campaign to turn the family against me. She's been calling every relative with her version of events. I'm an ungrateful son who's trying to destroy the family because I'm jealous of Ryan. She claims I verbally agreed to the swap and am now lying because I regret it. Some relatives believe her, others are staying neutral, but a few have reached out to support me. My Aunt Linda, Mom's sister, called me after Mom tried to get her involved. She said, "Michael, your mother has always been controlling, but this is beyond anything I imagined. I'm sorry you're going through this." Apparently, Mom had asked Aunt Linda to write a character reference for court, claiming the whole thing was a misunderstanding. My father has chosen his side firmly. He's been leaving me voicemails alternating between begging me to drop the charges and threatening to disown me. His latest message said, "You're destroying your mother. She could go to prison. Is your apartment worth your mother's freedom?" I've stopped listening to them and forwarded them all to my lawyer. Ryan's escalation. Ryan has gone from entitled to vindictive. He's been posting on social media about how I'm a corporate sellout who's throwing family under the bus for material possessions. He's conveniently leaving out the forgery and fraud parts. Last week, he changed the locks on his apartment, my original apartment. When my lawyer sent a cease and desist, Ryan claimed it was for security reasons because I had threatened him. Completely false, and we have all communications documented. He's also been damaging my belongings. During the court-ordered inspection of the apartment, we discovered my gaming setup mysteriously broken. Several pieces of artwork missing. He claims they were already gone. My clothes thrown in garbage bags in the storage unit. Personal documents scattered and some missing. We're adding destruction of property to the civil suit. Unexpected revelations. My therapist encouraged me to look at patterns of behavior, and I've discovered this isn't my mother's first rodeo with forging documents. My sister Jennifer did some digging and found out. Mom forged Dad's signature on a home equity loan in 2015. She signed Ryan up for credit cards in college without his knowledge, though he benefited from them. She's been signing my name on family Christmas cards for years, minor, but shows pattern. Jennifer also revealed that Mom had approached her about swapping her house with Ryan's apartment last year. Jennifer laughed it off as a joke, but now realizes Mom was testing boundaries. Current status. I'm still in the hotel but have been approved for a temporary apartment near work. My company has been incredibly supportive. My manager even offered to write a character reference for court about my stability and responsibility. The criminal case is moving forward. Mom's arraignment is next month. Her lawyer, paid for by my father taking out a loan, is trying to plea bargain, but the DA seems intent on prosecution given the sophisticated nature of the fraud. The civil case is also progressing. We're seeking immediate restoration of my apartment, damages for hotel costs and disruption, a compensation for destroyed property, legal fees, punitive damages for emotional distress. My lawyer is confident, especially given the criminal charges. Most judges don't look kindly on this level of premeditated fraud. Personal growth. Through therapy, I'm learning about boundaries and toxic family dynamics. I've realized my mother's behavior has been escalating for years, and I've been enabling it by not establishing firm boundaries earlier. I'm also dealing with grief. Not just for the current situation, but for the family I thought I had. The mother who would respect my autonomy, the father who would stand up for what's right, the brother who would appreciate help rather than feel entitled to it, they never existed. My support system has been incredible. Friends have offered couches, helped me move what belongings I could retrieve, and provided emotional support. My girlfriend Sarah has been a rock, helping me see that protecting myself isn't selfish. Looking forward. Whatever happens legally, I know my relationship with my family is forever changed. I'm prepared to go no contact with my parents and Ryan after this is resolved. It's painful, but necessary for my mental health and future security. I've started documenting everything meticulously and have frozen my credit. I'm also working with a financial advisor to ensure my accounts and assets are protected from any future attempts at fraud. To those in similar situations, document everything, get legal help immediately, and don't let family guilt prevent you from protecting yourself. Crimes don't become acceptable just because family members commit them. I'll update after the arraignment and when there's significant progress in the civil case. Thank you all for your continued support and advice. Your validation has been crucial in maintaining my resolve. Final update, posted 3 months later. Justice served, no contact established, and moving forward. It's been 3 months since my last update, and I finally have closure to share. This will be my final update as I'm ready to move forward with my life. Criminal case resolution. My mother pled guilty to identity theft, Class 4 felony, forgery, Class 5 felony. In exchange for dropping the other charges, she received 2 years probation, 200 hours community service, a $10,000 in fines, a mandatory counseling, a permanent criminal record. The judge was particularly harsh during sentencing, stating, "The sophisticated nature of this fraud, combined with the betrayal of familial trust, represents a serious breach of both legal and moral boundaries. The fact that you show no genuine remorse, only regret at being caught, is deeply concerning." My mother's statement to the court was infuriating. She claimed she was a mother trying to help her children, and that the criminal justice system was criminalizing maternal love. The judge wasn't buying it. Civil case victory. The civil case was resolved decisively in my favor. The immediate restoration of my apartment, enforced by sheriff's deputies. $15,000 in compensatory damages for hotel costs, destroyed property, work disruption, moving expenses, $25,000 in punitive damages, all legal fees covered, a restraining order against my mother and Ryan. Ryan fought the eviction until the very end. When the deputies arrived to enforce the court order, he had to be physically removed while screaming about squatters' rights and how I was stealing his home. The irony was lost on him. The family explosion. The guilty plea finally opened some relatives' eyes. My extended family largely split into 3 camps. 1. Those who finally saw my mother's true nature and supported me. 2. Those who still enable her with, "But she's your mother," rhetoric. 3. Those who want to stay neutral and pretend nothing happened. My father filed for divorce 2 weeks after the criminal sentencing. Not because he finally saw the light, but because the financial strain of her legal bills and fines was too much. He's now living with Ryan in the suburban apartment, and they're both struggling to make rent without mom's income. She lost her job at the school district after the felony conviction. The last communication I had with my father was a letter blaming me for destroying the family. I didn't respond. Ryan's downward spiral. After being evicted from my apartment, Ryan's behavior became increasingly erratic. He vandalized my car, caught on security cameras, additional charges filed. Created multiple fake social media accounts to harass me. Showed up at my workplace, security removed him. Sent threatening messages to my girlfriend. He's now facing his own criminal charges for harassment and vandalism. The restraining order violations alone could land him in jail. Last I heard, he lost his part-time job and is living off Dad's retirement funds. My mother's escalation. Despite the restraining order, my mother made several attempts to contact me. Through flying monkeys, relatives she manipulated. Fake apology letters that actually blamed me. Showing up at my therapist's office. Having her book club friends call me. Each violation was reported, and she's now facing potential probation violation charges. Her lawyer has advised her to cease all contact, but she seems incapable of accepting the consequences of her actions. The most disturbing development was discovering she had created a blog about parental alienation, where she paints herself as a victim of an ungrateful son. She uses fake names, but it's clearly about our situation. My lawyer says it skirts the edge of the restraining order but isn't quite enough for action unless she directly identifies me. Personal recovery and growth. These 3 months have been transformative. Living situation. I'm back in my apartment, which I've completely redecorated to remove any association with the trauma. It feels like home again. Career. My work performance has improved dramatically without the family stress. I received a promotion and substantial raise, partly because my manager was impressed by how I handled the situation professionally despite personal turmoil. Relationships. Sarah and I are stronger than ever. She's moving in next month, and we're planning our future together. My relationship with my sister Jennifer has deepened. She's been my rock through this. Mental health. Therapy has been life-changing. I'm working through decades of manipulation and gaslighting. I've learned to recognize toxic patterns and establish healthy boundaries. Financial security. I've taken extensive measures to protect myself. All accounts are locked down with additional security. Credit monitoring services active. Legal documents updated to explicitly exclude my parents and Ryan. Cameras installed at my apartment. A security system upgraded at work. Reflections. Looking back, the signs were always there. My mother's need for control, her favoritism toward Ryan, her inability to respect boundaries, it all led to this inevitable conclusion. The apartment swap was just the final, most egregious violation in a pattern of disrespect for my autonomy. I don't regret pressing charges. Yes, my mother now has a criminal record. Yes, my family imploded. But she made choices, calculated, deliberate choices, to commit multiple felonies. The consequences are hers to bear. To those facing similar situations, you are not responsible for the crimes others commit, even if they're family. You're not breaking up the family by holding criminals accountable. They broke the family when they chose to commit crimes against you. Moving forward. I'm done with this chapter of my life. I have a no contact with my parents or Ryan, permanent decision. A limited contact with extended family who respect my boundaries. A strong relationships with chosen family who support me. A career I love in a home I fought to keep. The knowledge that I can stand up for myself even against those who were supposed to protect me. This will be my last update. I wanted to close the loop for everyone who supported me and to show that justice, while painful and difficult, is possible. Family doesn't give anyone the right to commit crimes against you. Thank you to everyone who offered advice, validation, and support. You helped me through the darkest period of my life. I'm logging off from this account and moving forward with the life I've built, one where my boundaries are respected and my success is celebrated, not stolen. To anyone reading this who's in a similar situation, you deserve respect. You deserve autonomy. You deserve to have your property and rights protected. Don't let anyone, family or otherwise, convince you otherwise. Take care, everyone. I'm finally free.